Hey everyone! I have a quick announcement. My birthday is coming up, so I decided to give you a little gift. Starting today and until August 21st, you can get 15% off the $4 and $10 Patreon tiers. Also, poll number 36 is currently active on Patreon, where you can vote for the stories you want to see next. Every story released on this YouTube channel is chosen through these Patreon polls. If you're enjoying this story, the next 2 or more parts are already available on Patreon, along with over 1,000 audio story chapters and exclusive stories you'll never find on YouTube. All the links are in the description and pinned comment. Enjoy the story. The rain had stopped hours ago, but the air in Konoha still smelled of wet ash and blood. Buildings lay in broken heaps. The sky above the ruined hospital was the color of old bruises. Inside the deepest sealed chamber, the only sound was the slow, uneven breathing of the boy who had saved them all. Naruto Uzumaki lay on the wide medical bed, pale as paper, the whisker marks on his cheeks standing out sharply against skin that had lost almost all its color. The Nine Tails chakra had burned through him like wildfire. Now there was almost nothing left. Far away, in another wing of the same building, 2 women bent over an ancient scroll that should never have been opened. "Just breathe for me." Tsunade's voice was low, almost gentle, the way it never was in public. Her large, warm hand pressed flat against Naruto's bare chest, right over his heart. Golden chakra already leaked from her palm, sinking into him in slow, heavy pulses. He was tied. Thick seals of pure white chakra cloth wrapped his wrists to the headboard, another band across his thighs, keeping him open and helpless. The second set of hands belonged to Sakura, smaller, cooler, trembling slightly as they slid down his stomach. Naruto's blue eyes were half-lidded, glassy with fever and something else. His hardness stood rigid between them. Tsunade's thumb brushed once, deliberately, and a broken sound escaped his throat. "You feel that?" she murmured. "That's the start of the circuit. Don't fight it." Sakura leaned in, pink hair falling over one shoulder. Her lips brushed the shell of his ear. "We're going to fill you completely. Body and chakra. Until you can't tell where you end and we begin." Tsunade's free hand wrapped around his sword and stroked once, slow and firm. At the same moment both women pushed their chakra deeper. Naruto's back arched hard against the restraints. That was later. Right now the scroll still lay open on the table between Tsunade and Sakura. The language was archaic Senju script, the kind only a handful of people in the world could still read. Tsunade's finger traced the final line for the 3rd time. "There is no other way," she said flatly. "His tenketsu are collapsing one by one. The Kyuubi's chakra scorched the pathways clean. Ordinary medical ninjutsu is just pouring water into a broken cup." Sakura's hands were clenched so tightly the knuckles had gone white. "A ritual that requires that. With both of us. At the same time. Physical and spiritual union. Full chakra circulation through Congress while the patient's body is held in a receptive state." Tsunade's voice did not soften. "The old records call it the Twin Lotus transfer. It hasn't been used in over 80 years because most patients die before it can be completed. Or the healers do. And if we don't? He dies before sunrise." They found him trying to sit up. Naruto's arms shook violently the moment he pushed against the mattress. Sweat slid down his temples. The hospital gown hung loose on a frame that had lost too much weight in 3 days. "I'm fine," he rasped. "Just need another hour. Then I'll be good." Tsunade stepped into the room first. The door sealed behind Sakura with a soft click of privacy barriers. "Lie down." "I said I'm fine." "Lie down." He tried to swing his legs over the side of the bed. The movement cost him. His vision grayed out for 2 full seconds. When it cleared, Tsunade was already at the edge of the mattress, one hand pressed to his shoulder, forcing him back. "You arrogant little idiot," she said, almost softly. "Do you think we can't feel how close the seal is to failing? One more surge and Kyuubi chakra will eat what's left of your network from the inside." Naruto's blue eyes flicked to Sakura. She wouldn't look at him. That was worse than anything Tsunade could say. "There's another way," he insisted. "There always is. Just give me time." "There is no time." Sakura finally spoke, voice thin. "We found a Senju ritual. It's the only thing that can rebuild the pathways fast enough." He went still. "What kind of ritual?" Tsunade answered without flinching. The kind that requires us to take you completely. Body and chakra. While you are restrained so you cannot reject the transfer. Silence stretched. Then Naruto laughed, a short, cracked sound. You're joking. Do I look like I'm joking? He tried to get up again. This time both women moved. Sakura's hands glowed green as she slapped sealing tags onto his wrists. Tsunade's larger hands pinned his shoulders. The tags flared white. Thick bands of chakra-infused cloth shot out, wrapping his arms above his head, then his thighs. A final band settled across his hips, locking him in place. Naruto thrashed once hard. The seals held. Stop! I don't want this. Not like this. You don't get a vote, Tsunade said. Her voice had gone clinical, the Hokage voice, the one that had ordered hundreds of surgeries. You used every drop of life you had to save this village. Now the village is going to save you. Even if we have to force it down your throat. Sakura's hands were shaking as she cut the hospital gown away. The fabric fell open. Naruto's chest rose and fell in rapid, shallow breaths. The fox's seal on his stomach looked darker than usual, the edges frayed. Tsunade's gaze moved over him once, professional and assessing. Then something else flickered behind her eyes, something older, hungrier, that she buried immediately. Sakura. Begin the preparatory circulation. Low level. I need him hard and open before we start the real transfer. Sakura swallowed. Yes, Shisho. Naruto's protest died into a choke sound when Sakura's cool fingers wrapped around him. He was already half-hard from the adrenaline and the helplessness. Her hand stroked once, twice, clinical at first, then slower. Green medical chakra leaked from her palm in a soft, tingling wave. The sensation was wrong and electric. His hips jerked against the restraint. Don't, Sakura, please. I'm sorry, she whispered. Her green eyes were wet. I'm so sorry. But I won't let you die. Tsunade watched for a moment longer, then began removing her own outer robe. The heavy white fabric slid to the floor. Underneath she wore only the tight, low-cut top and the short skirt she always did. She stepped out of the skirt without ceremony. Her body was all soft, heavy curves. She climbed onto the bed, kneeling between thighs. The mattress dipped under her weight. One hand braced beside his ribs. The other reached down and took over from Sakura, replacing the smaller hand with her own larger, warmer grip. Breathe, she ordered. We're going to take this slow until the circuit locks. Then it will not be slow at all. Naruto's head tipped back against the pillow. A flush had started high on his cheekbones, spreading down his neck. The whisker marks stood out darkly. His sword throbbed in Tsunade's fist. Sakura moved to the side of the bed, stripping out of her own chipao with quick, jerky motions. Her body was leaner, firmer. She climbed up on Naruto's other side and leaned down, pressing her mouth to the side of his throat, just under the jaw. Tsunade shifted forward. The stretch was sudden and overwhelming. Naruto's mouth opened on a broken sound, half sob. Tsunade took him in one controlled motion. The seals around his wrists creaked as his arms jerked. Fuck! The word tore out of him raw. Tsunade's eyes fluttered shut for a second. A low, involuntary sound left her throat. She had expected the physical sensation. She had not expected the way his chakra, even the broken, flickering remnants of it, reached for hers the moment they were joined. It was instinctive, desperate. She rolled her hips once, testing. Golden chakra pulsed from her core in a thick, slow wave and poured straight into him. Naruto's back arched hard. Sakura's hand slid down his stomach, fingers spreading over the fox seal. Green medical chakra joined Tsunade's gold, the two energies twisting together and forcing their way into the damaged pathways. The dual invasion was too much. Naruto's vision went white at the edges. I can feel you, Tsunade murmured against his ear. Her voice had gone rough. Every broken channel. We're going to flood them. You're going to take every drop we give you. She began to move properly. The sound of her body filled the sealed room. Each downward stroke forced another pulse of dense healing chakra into him. Sakura leaned in closer, one hand still pressing on the seal, the other sliding up to cup Naruto's face, turning him toward her. She kissed him, awkward at first, then deeper when he made a helpless noise. Tsunade's pace increased. Sweat had begun to gather. She could feel him swelling thicker. The clinical detachment she had armored herself with was cracking. Heat coiled low in her belly, unwanted and fierce. Naruto's thoughts scattered. This is wrong. This is... She's so... Sakura's mouth. I can feel their chakra like liquid fire. I'm going to... Not yet, Tsunade growled. Her hand wrapped around the base where they were joined, squeezing just enough to hold him back. You fancy when the circuit is complete. Not before. She changed the angle, leaning forward. The new position let her grind down harder. Every movement forced more of her chakra into him in heavy, rhythmic surges. Sakura's green energy followed the same path, cooler, sharper, knitting the torn pathways back together even as the pleasure tried to tear Naruto apart from the inside. His thighs trembled against the restraints. The flush on his face had deepened to a dark, feverish red. Tears of pure overload stood in the corners of his eyes. Please, he choked. I can't, it's too much. Unfortunately, the platform doesn't allow me to include those kinds of details. But you can find the full uncensored version on Patreon. For just $4, you'll get access to over 1,000 scorching hot episodes. For a long moment the only sound was harsh breathing. Tsunade stayed seated on him, feeling the last tremors run through both their bodies. The fox seal on his stomach had stopped fraying. Color was already returning to his face in a slow, healthy flush. She lifted her head. Her blonde hair was damp at the temples. Circuit locked, she said, voice rough. He's stable. Sakura's hand was still resting over the seal. Her green eyes were wide, pupils blown, lips swollen from kissing him. A deep pink blush covered her from cheeks to chest. Naruto stared up at the ceiling, chest heaving. His wrists were still bound. And for the first time since the battle with pain, the constant, grinding agony of collapsing tenketsu was gone, replaced by a deep, thrumming fullness and the lingering echo of the most intense release of his life. He turned his head just enough to look at Tsunade. Something unreadable passed behind his blue eyes. They released the seals 20 minutes later. I'm curious, which scene has been your favorite so far? Let me know in the comments, and if you're enjoying the story, a quick like would really help the channel and motivate me to keep creating. Now, back to the story. Naruto could sit up without help. The difference was staggering. He flexed his fingers, feeling the clean rush of chakra answering him for the first time in days. Tsunade had already dressed again, professional mask locked back into place. Only the slight flush high on her cheekbones and the way she avoided looking directly at his body betrayed anything. Sakura helped him into a fresh hospital gown, her movements gentle, almost shy. She wouldn't meet his eyes either. You'll need at least 2 more full transfers, Tsunade said, checking the readings on a diagnostic seal. Possibly 3. The pathways are holding, but they're still fragile. Tonight you rest. Tomorrow we repeat. Naruto's voice came out quieter than he expected. Both of you? A beat of silence. Both of us, Tsunade confirmed. Then lower. Unless you'd prefer I handle the next session alone. The offer hung in the air. Sakura's head lifted sharply. Tsunade didn't look at her. Naruto swallowed. The memory of Tsunade's body, the heavy heat, the way her chakra had poured into him, it sat in his mind like a live coal. Yeah, he said. Maybe alone is better. For the next one. Sakura's expression flickered, hurt, confusion, something else, before she smoothed it away. I'll go check on the other critical patients, she said quietly and left. The door sealed behind her. Tsunade remained. She walked to the side of the bed and looked down at him. For a long moment neither of them spoke. Then she reached out and brushed a strand of blonde hair off his forehead with surprising gentleness. You felt it too, she said. Not a question. Naruto's throat worked. He nodded once. Tsunade's mouth curved in the smallest, darkest smile he had ever seen on her. Good, she murmured. Because that ritual doesn't just heal the body, Naruto. It leaves a mark. And I intend to make sure the next transfer is thorough. Her hand slid down, resting briefly over the fox seal on his stomach, lower than necessary. Her palm was warm, possessive. Then she turned and left him alone with the quiet hum of the hospital, and the memory of her still lingering. Naruto lay back against the pillows, staring at the ceiling. His hardness twitched once under the thin gown, half hard again already. He closed his eyes. And for the first time since the battle, he was not thinking about dying. He was thinking about the next time the fifth Hokage would walk into this room, lock the door, and take him apart all over again. The morning after the ritual, Naruto woke up to the sound of hammers. Somewhere outside the reinforced hospital walls, reconstruction had already begun. The air still carried the faint metallic tang of blood and wet ash, but underneath it was the cleaner scent of fresh wood and cut stone. He sat up slowly. No dizziness. No crushing pressure behind his eyes. The fox seal on his stomach pulsed once, steady, quiet, almost content. He flexed his fingers. Chakra answered him cleanly for the first time in days. A nurse came in with breakfast and a change of clothes. She smiled too brightly and left too quickly. Everyone treated him like glass that had already cracked once. By midday he was allowed to walk the inner corridors under supervision. Kakashi found him near the east wing windows, staring out at the broken skyline. "You're upright," the copy ninja said, one eye crescented in that familiar lazy smile. "That's either a miracle or a very expensive medical experiment." Naruto huffed a quiet laugh. "Something like that." Kakashi leaned against the wall beside him, arms folded. For a while they just watched the work crews. Then the older man spoke more quietly. "Tsunade-sama hasn't left the hospital compound since the battle. Neither has Sakura. Whatever they did to keep you breathing." It took something out of them too. Naruto's jaw tightened. He kept his eyes on the distant scaffolding. "Yeah," he said. "I know." Kakashi studied him for a second longer, then pushed off the wall. "Don't push yourself. The village needs its hero alive more than it needs him swinging a kunai right now." He left with a lazy wave. Naruto stayed at the window until the light started to change. Shikamaru found him later in one of the quieter courtyards, sitting on a low stone bench with a cup of tea he wasn't drinking. "You're avoiding her," the Nara said without preamble, dropping down beside him and lighting a cigarette. "Sakura. She's been asking for you every hour." Naruto stared at the steam rising from the cup. "I just need a day." "Troublesome." Shikamaru exhaled smoke toward the sky. "Whatever happened in that sealed room, it's written all over both of you. Tsunade looks like she hasn't slept. Sakura looks like she's carrying something too heavy. And you look like a man who just discovered a new addiction and is already trying to hide it." Naruto's fingers tightened around the cup. Shikamaru didn't push further. He just sat there smoking in companionable silence until the sun began to drop behind the ruined Hokage monument. Night came early in the damaged village. Power was still rationed. Most corridors ran on emergency seals and oil lamps. Naruto had been moved to a private recovery room on the top floor, thick walls, privacy barriers already etched into the frame. He was half dozing when the door slid open without a knock. Tsunade stepped inside and sealed it behind her with a single-hand sign. The soft click of the barrier locking into place was loud in the quiet. She wore a simple dark yukata instead of her usual attire, the fabric tied loosely at the waist. Her blonde hair was down, slightly damp as if she had washed it recently. The familiar diamond on her forehead caught the low light. "You're awake," she said. Naruto pushed himself up against the headboard. His pulse had already started to climb. "Couldn't sleep." Tsunade crossed the room slowly. She stopped at the side of the bed and looked down at him the same way she had the night before, assessing, but no longer purely clinical. "The diagnostic seals show your pathways are holding," she said. "But the Twin Lotus transfer isn't a one-time fix. The damage was too deep. We need to reinforce the circuit again before the residual strain starts unraveling what we rebuilt." Naruto swallowed. "Sakura is asleep in the next wing. I told her I would handle the night check alone." Tsunade's voice dropped half a register. "Unless you'd rather wait for her." The silence stretched. Naruto shook his head once. Something dark and satisfied flickered in Tsunade's eyes. She reached for the ties of her yukata. The dark fabric slid from her shoulders and pulled at her feet. Tsunade stood in the low light, every curve on full display. She climbed onto the bed with deliberate grace, straddling. The mattress dipped under her weight. She reached down and pulled the sheet away, freeing him. Her warm hand wrapped around his sword and stroked once, slow and firm. "Still so responsive," she murmured. "The ritual marked you. I can feel it every time I get close." Naruto's breath hitched. Tsunade-sama. Just Tsunade tonight. Her free hand pressed flat against his chest, right over his heart. Golden chakra began to seep from her palm in soft pulses. No titles. No village. Just the two of us and a circuit that needs feeding. She rose up on her knees and sank down in one long, controlled motion. Some scenes are too spicy for this platform. Find the full versions on Patreon. Only $4. Naruto's head tipped back against the pillow. His hands came up instinctively to grip her. The feel of her soft skin under his palms, it was different from the first time. No restraints. No Sakura watching. Just Tsunade taking what she wanted. She began to move. Slow at first. Each downward stroke forced another pulse of dense golden chakra into him. Tsunade's thoughts drifted as she rode. He's filling me completely. I haven't felt this in years. Decades. The ritual was supposed to be clinical. Why does it feel like I'm the one being healed? Her melon swayed with every movement. Naruto's eyes locked on them. Without thinking, he leaned up and took one into his mouth. Tsunade's rhythm stuttered. A sharp gasp escaped her. Her hand tangled in his blonde hair, holding him there. Greedy, she breathed, but she didn't pull him away. She rolled harder. Take what you want. The circuit likes it when you're greedy. Naruto's other hand slid around to grip the soft curve, fingers digging in. He thrust up to meet her, matching her pace. She was getting close already. He could feel it. The golden chakra pouring into him grew thicker, hotter, almost aggressive. It raced along the pathways they had rebuilt the night before, reinforcing every channel, sinking deeper than before. Don't hold it, she ordered, voice rough. Get the full uncensored experience on Patreon, 1000 plus episodes for just $4. They stayed locked together, breathing hard. Tsunade's forehead rested against his. Her body trembled with aftershocks. Slowly she lifted her head. Her cheeks were flushed deep pink, lips parted, eyes dark and heavy-lidded. A thin sheen of sweat made her skin glow in the low light. Circuit reinforced, she said, voice still rough. Then, quieter. And I still want more. She didn't climb off him. For a long time neither of them moved. Tsunade eventually shifted and settled beside him on the narrow hospital bed instead of leaving, one arm draped across his waist, heavy melon pressed against his side. The casual of it was almost more shocking than the rest. Naruto stared at the ceiling. His body felt heavy and warm, chakra humming steadily through repaired pathways. The usual post-battle emptiness was gone, replaced by something denser. Hungrier. You felt it too, Tsunade said quietly. Not a question. The same words she had used the night before. Yeah. She was silent for a moment. When she spoke again, her voice had lost most of its Hokage steel. I haven't taken a men in a very long time, Naruto. Not since, well, long enough that I thought that part of me had died with everything else. The ritual was supposed to be pure technique. Instead it woke something I buried decades ago. Her fingers traced idle circles on his stomach, just above the fox seal. And now every time I get near you I can feel the circuit pulling. Like it wants to be fed again. Naruto turned his head to look at her. In the low light her face looked younger, softer, almost vulnerable. I don't know what this is, he admitted. But I don't want it to stop. Tsunade's mouth curved in a small, dark smile. Good. Because it won't. Not until the pathways are fully stabilized. And maybe not even then. She leaned in and kissed him, slow, deep, claiming. When she pulled back her eyes were serious again. Sakura can't know yet. She's already carrying too much. If she finds out we're continuing the transfers alone, she'll insist on joining. And I'm not ready to share you again. The possessiveness in her voice sent a fresh pulse of heat through Naruto's body. Okay, he said. Tsunade studied him for another long moment, then finally rose and dressed. The yukata settled around her curves once more. At the door she paused. I'll come again tomorrow night. Same time. Be ready. Then she was gone, the barrier unlocking and resealing behind her with a soft click. Naruto lay in the dark, still tasting her on his tongue, already counting the hours. Sakura noticed the next morning. Naruto was sitting up in bed eating breakfast when she entered with a new set of diagnostic seals. She looked tired, dark circles under her green eyes, pink hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. She smiled when she saw him, but the smile didn't quite reach her eyes. "You look better," she said, pressing the first seal to his wrist. Green chakra flared as she ran the scan. "Pathways are stronger than yesterday. Almost too strong. What did Tsunade Shisho do last night?" Naruto kept his expression carefully neutral. "Just a reinforcement session. She said it was routine." Sakura's fingers paused for half a second on the second seal. Then she continued working, eyes on the glowing characters rather than his face. "She was in a strange mood this morning," Sakura said quietly. "Distracted. And she wouldn't let me look at the overnight logs." She finished the scan and sat back, studying him. "You're avoiding me." "I'm not." "You are." Her voice stayed soft, but there was an edge underneath. "Ever since the first ritual you've barely looked at me. Did I do something wrong? Was it too much? Having both of us like that?" Naruto's chest tightened. He wanted to tell her the truth. The words sat heavy on his tongue. Instead he reached out and took her hand. "You didn't do anything wrong, Sakura. I'm just still processing. Everything. The battle. Almost dying. The ritual. Give me a little time, okay?" She searched his face for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Her fingers squeezed his once before she stood. "Okay. But I'm still your medic. And your friend. Don't shut me out completely." She left with another tired smile that made guilt twist low in Naruto's gut. He waited until the door closed before exhaling. That night Tsunade returned earlier than promised. The barrier sealed. The yukata hit the floor. This time there was almost no conversation. She pushed him onto his back and climbed him with clear intent. Her hand wrapped around his wand. Then she turned, presenting him with the soft, full curves of her melons before lowering herself. "The platform made me cut some parts. Get the full versions on Patreon for only $4. Naruto's hands came up to grip. The scent was thick and sweet. Tsunade's breath hitched. She rolled, grinding for more pressure. "Deeper. Use tongue properly." He obeyed. She trembled on either side of his head. One of her hands braced against the headboard. The other reached back to stroke his hardness in the same rhythm. Golden chakra began to leak from her body in soft waves, sinking into him wherever they touched. It felt different tonight. Hungrier. More possessive. Tsunade's voice grew breathier. "That's it, just like that. You're getting good at this already." She rode until she started to shake, then lifted off and turned around. In one smooth motion she sank down onto. Get the full uncensored experience on Patreon, 1000 plus episodes for just $4. The flush on Tsunade's face had spread down her neck and across the tops of her melons. Her eyes were half-lidded, focused entirely on the place. Mine, some dark part of her thought. The circuit marked him, and now he's mine to feed. To use. To keep coming back to. Naruto's thoughts were simpler and more desperate. She's so. I can feel her chakra pouring into me like liquid fire. I never want this to stop. Tsunade leaned down suddenly, changing the angle. When she spoke her voice was pure command. "Come for me. Fill again. I want it." Full uncensored version on Patreon. They lay tangled together afterward, Tsunade's larger body half covering his, one of his hands resting on the soft curve. The room smelled of the faint ozone scent of spent chakra. Naruto's voice was quiet when he finally spoke. "Sakura's starting to notice." Tsunade's fingers traced idle patterns on his chest. "I know. She's sharp. We won't be able to keep this from her forever. What happens when she finds out?" Tsunade was silent for a long moment. Then she lifted her head and looked at him with those dark, knowing eyes. "Then we deal with it. But not yet. For now, this stays between us." She kissed him once more, slower this time, almost gentle, before rising and dressing. At the door she glanced back. "Same time tomorrow, Naruto. And the night after that. Until the pathways are fully stable. Or until I decide I've had enough of you." A small, wicked smile curved her mouth. "I don't think that second part is going to happen anytime soon." Then she was gone. Naruto lay in the dark, body still humming, already aching for the next night. And somewhere in the back of his mind, a quiet, dangerous thought took root. He wasn't sure he ever wanted the treatments to end. This version is censored. The full version is available on Patreon, Over 1,000 hot episodes for just $4.